Bureck sent me this remote control thermostat for the Chinese diesel heaters. And if you have a Chinese diesel heater, you want one of these too. The big problem with those diesel heaters is when they get the room warm enough, they don't shut off. They just turn down to low. Now, for years, I've had this little remote control hanging close to my bed, so when it turns down to low and it gets too hot in the van, I wake up and turn it off. When I get up in the morning, I'm cold, so I turn it back on and then stay under the blanket for a couple minutes. That's great. This is better. This is a programmable thermostat that actually turns the heater off when it gets up to temperature. And then when it gets cold in the room, it'll turn the heater back on. In addition to actually turning the heater on and off, it's also a programmable thermostat with 4 different time sets. So I have this one set up. Let's see if I push the little button here and go sideways. We can see the menus. There's time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4. So I have it set up so about 6 o'clock in the morning it comes on and cranks the heat up in my little van here to about 75 degrees. 11 o'clock in the morning it turns it back down to 65 degrees because I don't need the heat to stay on all day. Then about 5 o'clock in the evening it turns it back up so I'm cozy warm until 11 o'clock. It turns it back down because once I'm under the blankets I don't need all that heat. Now, in addition to just changing the temperature, it also lets me change the swing. That is how far the temperature in the room changes between turning on and turning off the heat. If I had a little battery and I was going to be parked for a couple of days and I was worried about running my battery dead on the glow plug, starting and stopping the heater too many times, naturally I'd want that swing up around 4 or 5 degrees. After trying this thermostat for 2 days and mild, kind of cool climates, I think the nightly lows were in the upper 30s to low 40s. We found that a 4-degree swing was a little too much. I turned it down to a 2-degree swing, put the remote control away, and didn't touch it again for the rest of the trip. Now, that's another advantage to this remote control, is it is wireless. I can place it anywhere in the van where I want my temperature to be. When I installed the diesel heater, it's got, 7 or 8 foot cable on it. Maybe it's a 2-meter cable going from the controller to the thermostat, between the heater and the thermostatic controller. So I mounted it on the wall over here, and lo and behold, that's not the best place to have my thermostat. That wall, especially right behind the driver's window, is always kind of cold, so the thermostat didn't even turn down appropriately. Now with this remote control, I put this back here, close to our living area, or the center of the van, far away from the doors and windows, and it does a much better job of maintaining the heat throughout the van. One more feature I want to tell you about, if you push these sideways buttons on this remote control both at the same time, it takes us into a hold mode. Now hold is going to put my scheduling on standby, if you will, and only apply to this setting that I have right here. It's basically an alternate schedule that's just one setting 24 hours a day. So if I'm going to leave my van for a couple of days and, well, not be living in my van, it's just going to be parked out front, but I don't want my stuff to freeze inside, I'm going to turn this on hold with an 8-degree swing set at 45 degrees. So anytime it gets down to freezing, the heat's going to come on and keep the van just above the freezing point. Heat it up pretty good and then turn off and wait again until it gets back down that cold. So it doesn't use a lot of power, it doesn't come on and off a whole lot, but yet it just uses minimal heat as necessary. And you can set that to any temperature, any swing you want. To get out of that mode, when I come back to occupy the van, just going to press those 2 buttons again, and we're right back into my regularly scheduled program.